Ouais, ça marche. Okay. Yeah, sorry for this interruption. Yeah, chat is fixed, so I will just check all your questions now and go back to them directly. Okay, perfect. So we left. Okay. And include that. Okay, so about the question of Togar, he asked, how do we calculate the overhead cost of the production, like operator salary, maintenance, supporting materials, and include them on the costing calculation? Yeah, I already explained this point. I will just make a quick recap of it. You can directly put, of course, a cost on your product, and during the manufacturing, it will sum up all the cost of all the components, and you can also set a cost for your operations. So when you produce something, it will start to record the time that you spend on a specific operation, and it will multiply this time by your cost per hour. At the end, the final good will sum up everything, so all the cost linked to the operations and also the cost linked to the components. So that's how to sum up all those costs. So I can show you here on the manufacturing module. If you go to, for example, the work center, assembly line, you can set a cost per hour, and it will increase the amount by the time that you spend on this operation. Okay. Still the issue from Jadas. Thanks, Aik, to take the time to answer to Jadas. I hope it will be fixed. Otherwise, Jadas, if it's not fixed, you can still, as I said, contact the support of Odoo at odoo.com/help. Okay, I'm trying to set UPS delivery, but I can't tell Odoo what package to use, as it always quotes on the default package defining the UPS delivery type. Okay. So we have a question from Rui. He's trying to set up UPS delivery, but he can't tell Odoo what package to use, as it always quote on the default package defining the UPS delivery type. Okay, so of course, the thing is, when you configure UPS, you have to configure some package, and the package that you are configuring are directly applied depending on the volume. For example, if you said, okay, we have 3 kind of bugs depending on the volume that they can contain, plus such amount of weight, and you can configure those packages, configure the conditions, and depending on that, UPS will directly take the good package for your delivery. So if you have 10 products and it has this volume, this weight, it will be directly, Odoo will directly calculate, depending on the packaging that you already configure in the system, it will calculate which box has to be used for your UPS delivery. So that's how it works. Okay, Noor, is there a way to set a payment method on POS in other currency other than the base currency? That's a good question. Honestly, I'm not really an expert in POS, but I can check with you if we can find if is it possible or not. So POS is here. Nor is asking if we can set a payment method on POS in another currency than the base currency. I guess it should be possible from my side, but I'm not really sure of that. So we can just check it. First things to check if the currency, multiple currency are just set in Odoo. I'm just checking first in the configuration of the POS if there is an option to do that. Operation type, payment method, yeah. Create, tip cash. Okay, maybe you can. I saw that there is an option here, currency, but I'm not sure. Currency used to enter statement. Yeah, I just want to be sure first that if I let it empty, I can use all the currency that I wish in my POS. Because it's the same way to work for accounting, and if I want to invoice in a different currency, I don't have to put a specific currency on the journal. Okay, so I don't see anything linked to the currency in the POS, but okay, let's have a look. Let's open a new session. Okay, so it's in dollars effectively. Or you have to put a specific currency. Okay, I don't think that it's possible. As I can see here, you cannot change the currency, but it's a little bit strange to change the currency, as when you sell something, you sell it on site, and on site you invoice in the currency of your country. So it's a little bit strange to use another currency. Suppose that I have a store in Europe. I won't invoice my client in yen. So it's a little bit strange. I don't know your specific case, Noor, but maybe I don't think it's a correct way to work. But maybe you have some good reasons to do that. I don't know your specific case, as I said. I cannot find here if there is a possibility. Sounds strange to me to do that. But if you want to have more info, as I'm not really an expert in POS, I suggest you to just create a ticket on our Odoo support. So you can do that on odoo.com/help. You have a quick form to fill, and you can submit your ticket, and our support will handle it as soon as possible. Okay, what are the next question? Okay, Jaida's still chatting with Ake. How to set different outgoing mail server for each users in Odoo? We have a question from Nayas, which is how to set different outgoing mail server for each user in Odoo. That's okay. A complex question because you have different things to do. You have first to configure an outgoing mail server in Odoo, and then in your external server you have to make the link between all the mail address of your user and this outgoing mail server. As it's quite complex, I will not enter into details. I will just show you why you can create your outgoing mail server in Odoo. And but if you want to enter in, I have more specific answer because it's quite complex topic and can depend really on your kind of external server you are using. I will also suggest you to send an email to our support. Okay, so I'm in the settings module and I have to be on developer mode. Oh, maybe not. Maybe now you can directly do that in the general settings. Let me check. Okay, perfect. So here you have the settings that you can tick, and you have the possibility to directly create your outgoing mail servers. So as you can see here, I have already two default ones have been done, have been set. So that's where you can configure them. Okay, it's a little bit slow. So you can create and put all the information linked to your server here in this form. So once again, to reach this form, you have to go on the settings module, click on the general settings. There you have an option to tick, which is external email servers, and you can see that you have the possibility to configure your outgoing email servers. Okay, so don't hesitate to ask to our support for more specific questions, Nayas. Okay, how can I restrict point of sale session from the users that each user could see only their point of sales on dashboard? Okay, Alex, I will try. Let's check that. So Alex is asking if we can restrict the point of sale session to a specific user. So I guess each user can see his dedicated point of sale, and prevent to see all the point of sale. So let's check the settings. Okay, it's not here, but maybe. Past categories, payment method, no. I would say by follower, but it doesn't seems to be the case. So that's a good question. Honestly, I don't know if it's possible. As I said, I'm not really an expert in POS, in point of sale. So for specific things like this, I don't know if it's something that is possible in standout. Maybe we will have to play a little bit with the record rules for the access rights. So yeah, I cannot. I'm sorry, I cannot help you on this. But if you want to have a proper answer to this question, yeah, once again, suggest you, Alex, to contact our support. They will answer you with guys that really know deeper the point of sale. Okay. So Oliver has a question. Is it possible to directly track attendances on project task timesheets? So you want to know, okay, the attendances of the timesheet itself. You can always timesheet a project or a task. So each user can record his time directly in the timesheet tab of the task or of the project. So let's take a task, for example. And here you can just enter the time that you spent in the timesheet. Of course, you cannot directly. Odoo is not checking there is no way in standard to see the connection time of your employee on the system. So if is it your question, is it possible to see the connection time of your employees, of all the users on Odoo? There is no possibility in standard to do that. But there is an informative possibility, workaround, which is on the HR module where you can just set the attendance. So there you can set, okay, register, I started to work at this time in the morning and I finish at this time in the afternoon. So that's a possibility and a workaround to check that. But of course, everyone can still cheat on this. But yes, in standard, there is no possibility to have this information. Yeah, either we can make some customization or development to know that, or either you have to have more reliable employees. Bas is asking, is it possible to edit design the different PDF document with WYSIWYG editor, with Odoo Studio? Unfortunately, not yet. So you are not able yet to edit the different PDF document available in Odoo with the WYSIWYG editor. You can just change some. You can just play with translation if you want to adapt the words. You can also, I think, make some, or maybe you can complete a little bit, but it's really restrict about this. Studio is not a tool to just customize a report. So it's plain in the future. It's a task that we have in mind, but it's not implemented. It's not still implemented, and I don't know exactly when it will be. It's quite complicated, and so until now, it's more customization that have to be done by Odoo to change the report. Louison La Sala is asking, can we have different bank account details on the printed invoices for the sale orders from different currencies market? Effectively, this means having two different printable invoices, one for each currency. Okay, I don't really get your question, Louison. You are asking, can we have different bank account details on the printed invoices for... Ah, yeah, okay. for the sale orders from different currencies markets. Typically, this means to different. Yes, yes, exactly the reason. You will have to change the PDF. For that, it's just a matter of condition. Depending on the currency you are using, we can just set the information of this bank or the other bank of the bank that you want. But as I explained to as I explained to Bas, that's something that is not possible on standard or with Studio. It's a customization and has to be done by us, so by Odoo, or by your partner if you are working with a partner of Odoo. Because it's directly changing the code in the PDF, and that's still not possible with Studio, so it has to be done by us or by your partner. But it's quite simple. It's just making a if condition on your reports, saying, okay, I will use this bank details if this currency is used, or this bank details if this other currency is used. So yes. Okay, we have a question of Togar. What is the use of analytic tags? Can you show one example of how to use it, please? Okay, so analytic tags is more to refine, I would say, the analytic account, but it has not really hierarchical link between the analytic account and the analytic tag. What I can say is you will use the tags as the normal tags in Odoo just to refine your search on the search bar. If you want to specify, for example, an analytic account into different subsections, you can use the tags. So how to do that? Okay. So to do that, we can just set analytic tags. So for example, here we have already two tags, contracts. The idea is when you will make an invoice or a bill, you have the possibility, or any journal item, you have the possibility to set an analytic account and an analytic tag. So if I'm taking this draft invoice, I can put the tag Odoo event Odoo experience, and the tag maybe contracts. So the idea is to check any analytic entries, make a search on a specific analytic account and then on a specific tag. And by this way, you will have a refined search on specific entries. So that's a way to do that, to use tags, to use analytic tags. So if I'm going to advisor analytic entries, as you can see, I can, I guess, make a filter on the tags and say contracts. I'm not sure there is something yet recorded. Okay, maybe it's because there is nothing recorded, but we can just check that. Okay, I'm validating. If I validate this invoice with the tag contracts, analytic entries, analytic entries. choosing the tags, I would be able to check my to refine my search. So here it's a way to do that. Of course, after that you can just group by analytic account, for example, and it gives you some info. Yeah, that's more useful for search bar on the analytic entries. Okay. Okay, how to create a button and action for that. So Manchar has a question. He's asking how to create a button and an action for that. Yeah, that's typically customization that is supposed to be a paid thing. I can explain you. Yeah, I will explain you how to do that. Yeah, in the general way. So thing is, you have to be in developer mode, going on the settings module and technical menu. Then you have to create an action, which is linked to a server action, which is making the action that you want. Just check if creating a server action will create a Windows action. Then, if once you have your Windows action, you just create the button in the view, and you change the action ID by the ones that you want to target. So when the user will click on this button, it will just action your server action that you just created. But that's the goal, right? I won't show you into detail because it takes a little bit time, but that's basically the principal things to do to create a button and just trigger a specific action. So we have a question from Rui. He's asking, how can you add expenses to a sale order? It seems it will only work the first time. Second time it will not add up. What configurations are needed for this to work? So you want to add expenses on a sale order. It's not really the way how expenses are working. Once you record your expense in the module expense, so we have a dedicated module for the expenses. So the goal is to record your expense, and then you are able to to submit it to create an invoice. Just let me check. Yeah, okay. I understand what you meant. So you are saying that if I'm choosing this sale order now on this expense, it will be work only the first time, and the second time it will not add up. So what do you mean by it's not working the second time? Because you mean that you can just choose one sale order to link to one expense, or I don't really understand what you want to say, what you mean, Rui. But we can check if we can link several expenses to the same sale order. What does this another say. Okay, so SO98, save, need to manager, approved, okay, good. Okay, what happens on my C loader? It has had the expense on my C loader. Can we just add a new expense on this C loader? As Rose said, it's apparently not working, but let's check that. Yeah, let's check our travel by air. Okay, so I'm able to choose a second time the C loader. Let's check if it will add it on the C loader itself. Yeah, I'm doing all the steps just to completely finish my expense. So now on my order 98. Yeah, I don't know, but here on the Runbot it's working. You can add different expenses on the C loader. So maybe it's could be linked to a specific configuration, Roy. Again, if you are not able to do that, just contact our support, because I was able to do it. So it's maybe linked to a problem of configuration. Okay, so Alex is asking, yeah, that's really specific question, Alex. How can I merge website and apps together? For example, I have a hotel website and I want to reserve a room directly from this website and info update in my hotel management app. Okay, I don't know if all those things are done in Odoo. I guess so. So your question is, you have created an app which manage hostel, and you want to book some, make the availability to book some room on your website, and those info are directly implemented in your studio website, studio module. I don't think it's possible in standard. No, just let me check on website, but I don't think it's possible to link a module done by Studio to create a new page and a new action in the website. Not yet. It could be a good feedback, but what you can do is, of course, do that by, it could be done through development, certainly, but in standard, I don't think so. I'm just checking some configuration website, but I don't think so. It's possible directly to do that. Let's check when we open Studio. it could be possible to make a new form. Ah, but that's a form. Okay. Maybe. I don't know what exactly you wish to achieve, but yeah, here there is a workaround. As you can see, you have created a new object in a new model in your app, and you can use the form to create new record in this object. So you can set the form as you can create your form and just customize your form to add in the form all the fields of your object that you created. So for example, if you talk about booking rooms in a hotel, you can just make maybe in your object you have created a field bed with a float, an integer field. You can add it, so you can add a custom field that you have, like here an existing field, sorry. So if you have previously created this field in your model, you can choose among the existing ones. So that's all the fields existing in my model. But you can also directly create new fields that will be added in the model from the possibility here, add a custom field. And you can just take the type. Once you add it, it will add it in the model also. So yeah, that's a good workaround. Of course, about the display of your website, it's only a page where you can fill a form, and it will create a record in your object. But if you want a specific display and design for your website room, hotel room, that's something that should be done through customization and development. But at least you can create a specific form on your website, so a dedicated page for this form, and each time that is each time that the form is filled and sent to Odoo, to the system, it will create a new record in your model. Yeah, so that's a workaround, Alex. Togar has a question. Can I purchase Odoo Enterprise for all modules? Yeah, I would say yes, but I'm not really aware of all the contract constraints and so on. So if you want to have a proper answer about the contract issues, you can contact our support also. Or if you have an account manager at Odoo, you can contact him directly. He will be happy to answer you about these questions. But yeah, I'm a functional consultant. I'm not really aware of all the constraints about the contracts. Purchase enterprise for all modules for 1 year. In that way, we will get an access to enterprise branch in GitHub. Isn't this available anymore? Enterprise. So I'm just getting back to Togar because he asked a second question directly linked to this contract matter. Yes, if you have an enterprise session license, I think you can have access to GitHub. But once again, to have a proper answer, just contact either your account manager or our support. They will be more precise in the constraints and the condition of those kind of contracts. Okay, so Daniele has a question. In inventory, is it possible to create a transfer, for example, a recept, specifying that the product must follow a specific custom route that I created. For example, we've added steps push rule. I added. Okay, so Daniel is asking if you can specify on the recept, on the transfer, the route that the product has to follow. Let's check that. I'm sure about the sale order. From the sale order, you can specify the routes for each product. But about a transfer, I have to check with you guys directly to know this possibility. So yeah, let's go to dashboard, recept. Okay, let me check the configuration. Apparently, on the transfer itself, you cannot set that. Yeah, of course not, because it's not possible on a transfer to do that, because a transfer is a part of your route. So when you create a route, you create several transfer. It will imply several transfer. For example, I create a route which is going from this stock, from this warehouse A, and I want to that my product go directly. When I recept something on my warehouse A, I want to make a transfer to my warehouse B. Then in my warehouse B, I want to make the transfer from stock A to stock B, for example. And this is configured in the route. But of course, each move corresponds to a transfer itself. So there is no sense on the transfer to specify a route, because the transfer itself is a part of the route. So I hope I answered to your question, Daniel. But yeah, that's the main concept of the route. It's creating, of course, move for a product from a specific location to other locations. And those moves are done by transfer. So transfers are just a part of the routes. Okay. Post payment in a specific currency. Create a post payment in a second currency. Okay, Michel, you ask to have a payment in specific currency. Create a post method in a second currency. Yeah, we have already checked that before, just a little bit earlier, and I couldn't find this possibility. I'm not 100% sure, but what I just raised was this question: why do you want to invoice in another currency on a POS as you are selling in your country? So my question is, in which case your employee working on your store in, let's say, France, wants to invoice someone, a customer, in yen? Just my question. So I don't know if there is specific cases. Could be some good reason to have this. If you have it, could you submit me like this? I could just think a little bit more on these topics, but I've already checked and I couldn't find the possibility to make an invoice, to make a post payments in different currencies. But could you? Yeah. So the question was, why should I pay in dollars if I'm invoiced in euro? In my in in the store, I guess. Okay, so David Watkinson has a question. We are trying to move a website from Odoo to our own server. It has so far taken a week just to get the files from Odoo. How do we install Odoo and migrate the old website to the new website? Okay, I'm not aware about your situation, David. So I don't know. I have no idea about the complexities that you have just encountered. I don't know why it has taken so much time. We are trying. So your question is, yeah, you are trying to move a website from Odoo to our own server. It has so far taken a week just to get the file from Odoo. How do we install Odoo and migrate the old website to the new website? How do we install Odoo? So you are asking to install Odoo on a local server. For that, you can go on our website and you can purchase the enterprise version to go on local. Then you will receive a link to download the file, and you can download the enterprise Odoo version. Then you have to apply it on your server. Of course, this is relating to a technical question, and I'm not really the guy to help you on this. Yeah, just as I said, this is really some technical things. So just contact our support at odoo.com/help, or you can call our support line. We have also some live session with with some of my colleagues who are developers. You can ask them, but as I'm not a developer, I cannot really help you on this topic. Okay, so okay, am I missing an Odoo? One. Is it possible? So we have a question from Jan. He's asking, is it possible to set up VAT per country in the e-commerce shop? Yes, but of course, the people, your client has to be logged in, so it has to be logged in his portal account to apply the right VAT. Or maybe you can, if he's logged in his portal, and that you set the good fiscal position on his contact, it will certainly be applied. But from a Lambda client who is not registered, good question. Good question. If is it working for Lambda? So when I'm going to my shop, yeah, let's go to the website. On the shop, yes. Okay, let's take a new page. Log out. What I'm not sure is if you have to be logged to make a purchase. If it's the case, in this case, if you have to be logged, you won't encounter the issue because you will create the contact, and then you will apply directly the fiscal position. Okay, test at mail.com. Company name. Okay. country, Albania. Okay, next. Okay. Let's check here if there is a possibility to for the lambda. I couldn't proceed until the end. I don't know why on my database I had an issue. I couldn't process to my purchase to the end. So I don't know if it has created a contact in my database. But the idea is really, yes, if you if you are logged, you can set a fiscal position. So, of course, the VAT will be correctly computed. The doubt that I have is when you are not logged in, but you just fill the form, I don't know if the fiscal position will be applied on the based on the country that you set on the form that you had to fill just to proceed just to process the purchase, the online purchase. Okay, that's a good question, but honestly, apply rate, VAT rate for okay, not such for digital products. You can make the test on your side. So just put a fiscal position for a specific country, for example, and you change the VAT, and try to make a purchase on your e-commerce for one of your, try to do that, but unlogged. And then check on the sale order if the fiscal position is correctly set, based on the country that you referred on your on the form, the online form, when you proceed all the steps to buy the product. But I'm not sure about that. I think it won't apply any fiscal position, specific fiscal position, regarding what you have entered. I think you have to put it on the sale order or on the contact form if you want that, if you want to apply that automatically. Okay. Okay, so what other question we can have? Why payroll? Okay, we have LabTech. He's asking a question about payroll. Why payroll module can't use in online version? Normally you on the SaaS version, so the online hosted by Odoo, you have the possibility to use payroll. Thing is, here you have the module payroll. So I don't know why you couldn't use it. Maybe no. Normally on the online version hosted by Odoo, you are able to use payroll because the module is there. Okay, so this man has a question about the delivery of replacement items on the same sale order. Yes, I think it's possible. So you want to replace a product, a specific product. Yeah, the simple way to do that is I will deliver my iPod, and so I confirm the sale. I'm able to make the delivery. Okay, I process all the quantities. So I have delivered my iPod. Suppose that I have a return from this product because something is broken inside, and I just making the change, the repair, and I want to resend my iPod to my client. So the step to do is going back to the sale order, taking delivery, simulate the return of your iPod into your stock. So I click on return. When I click on return, I have the possibility now with V11, but also in SAS 15, I think, we have the possibility to refund. Suppose that your client don't want to just repair the product, they only want to be refunded. So you can just take back the product and create a refund directly. But if I'm not taking this option, I will just make the opposite move of my delivery. So I will make a recept. So if I'm clicking on my, I validate the return. So now I'm on my recept. As you can see, the sequence is in, and I only have to validate my recept, and now my product has gone back in my stock. So as you can see on my sale order, I have two stock move to delivery, but one is going from my stock to the client, and the other is from the client to my stock. So suppose now that you have repaired the iPod and you want to deliver it again to your client, you can just simply click on the button create, you have either the possibility to click on the button create, put all the information, validate the move, and the delivery will be done, or you can simply duplicate the original one. It will take the same info, just add the product iPod. Okay. Apply, and it's down. So I have three stock move linked to my sale order, the original delivery, the return, and the second delivery. So that's how you can do that in Odoo, Usman. LabTech, can we use public holiday, important day? Could you specify your question? Use public holiday to do what? I'm not sure about what you want to do with the public holiday. Okay, next question is Kamran Bemana. So how do I amend? I'd remove fields of free text into quote PDF templates. If your question is adding new fields in PDF templates or remove existing fields on a PDF, you cannot do that with Studio, as we talked about this subject an hour ago, I think, and you can only change your PDF through customization done by Odoo or done by a partner. Studio doesn't allow you to make some change on the PDF, so that's something that has to be done by us. But you can still find some workaround, such as playing with the translation. If you just want to change the name of a field, specific field, you can just change its translation, and this translation will be applied in the PDF. But if you want really to change the structure of your PDF, that's something that has to be done for development and customization by Odoo. Okay. So Bart has a question of the use of analytic defaults. Okay, I'm not sure where you have seen that analytic default, but I can have a quick look at it. So let's check that. Analytic default. Maybe Bart, you can help me. Because I don't know where you saw analytic default. Okay, let's check that on the analytic account. Yep. Configuration. Analytic defaults. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay, I understand. Analytic defaults is if you want always to apply an analytic account on a specific partner, on a specific product, or on a specific user. So, for example, I want to apply the account Odoo, event Odoo experience on a specific product. So, a specific product, sorry. So, each time that I will choose my product ice cream, each time that I will sell it or I will purchase it, the analytic account on the line will be event Odoo experience. Of course, I can play with several parameters, such as the partners, the product, the user. So user is the Odoo user, the one who's connected and making the purchase or sale orders. And based on those parameters, you can just apply a default analytic account. You can also specify the period, so start and end date. And based on all those parameters, it will set a default analytic account. Okay. How can we get, so Roy has another question, how can we get a UPS quote for a specific package that is not defined as default package for the carrier? How can we get a UPS quote for a specific package that is not defined as default package for the carrier? Okay, let me check the UPS configuration. Mm-hmm. So I'm just thinking about your question, Roy. Yeah, it seems that you can UPS package rate units. Yeah. Centimeter UPS label. Okay, what you can do is to choose to make different UPS delivery methods, each method by so one delivery method will correspond to a specific packaging type. So if you want to have UPS, you can say UPS PE for Belgium. Let's say packaging 25 kilos. And kilograms, and you can do that for all the different packaging that you are using. Yeah, of course, settings the same configuration that for each one, except the packaging type, maybe the package weight unit and stuff like this. But I would do this for your case rule. So we okay. So Bart, you have a question about cleaning your testing move data on your database to use it in production. Thing is, each time that we make an implementation with Odoo, we recommend to have the production database and to keep it clean as long as possible until you start in production. That's why we make duplicate databases of your production in which we are making all the tests, and once we have found a good configuration that fits you, we apply them in the production database, and there you can start with a clean database. About your question, that's about the methodology. But about your issue, I guess you said that you have already entered some data in your in your database, and you want to clean them to start in production with a clean database. Thing is, it really depends on what kind of data you have entered. You have recorded in the DB. For example, all the stock move data are really complicated to change, just to erase. Sorry, if is it simply articles, contacts, you can delete them if they are not implied in other objects, such as if you have, for example, use your products in a sale order, your client in a sale order, you won't be able to delete the contact and the articles, but you have the possibility to archive them. So, for example, here you have the button Archive, and if you click on it, it will deactivate in this case, the delivery method, and it will hide you this object from your instance. For the sale orders, I hope if you have also make some invoicing, accounting move, it's also quite complicated to erase them. What I suggest you, I'm not sure, I don't know what you exactly want to clean, but if you have also accounting moves, accounting entries register in your accounting, you can, I don't think that you are able to delete them. I'm pretty sure not. But what you can do is properly correct them. So let's make an example, because most important is to start with the good balance for each account. So what I suggest you is to make the opposite move of your accounting entries, just to correct all the balance of your accounts. So you can go to accounting. Let's take one journal entries. For example, okay, we have an entries in the stock journal, and we have here the possibility to reverse the entry to correct and balance the debit and credit. So yeah, I would do that in your case if you want to keep absolutely your database. Otherwise, you can create a new database, just import all the contact, and all the things that you have implemented, and start from a brand new database. That's another possibility. It's to create a brand new database and just make import of all the data that you have in your current one. Okay. So we have a question of Abdirazak, which is asking, is it possible to use landed cost under average costing method instead of real price, like other ERP systems? I don't know about ERP systems. I'm not sure they are all allowing those features, but in Odoo, unfortunately not. You cannot use landed cost with average costing method. You can only use landed cost with real price method. So yeah, that's a condition to use landed cost. It have to be in real price. But you know what you can do, Abdi Razak? Thing is to make some improvements in our software. It's really good when clients make some feedbacks on improvements, because it helps us to take into account the requirements of our client. So if you could make a feedback on Odoo, it will be really good, and I guess it will be taken into account. I'm not saying it's gonna be done for the next SaaS version or next version, but it will be at least maybe taken into account for the future improvements in Odoo. But you are not the first one to encounter this issue, Abdirazak. So if more and more clients are asking for this feature, I guess Odoo will make the feature available and improve the software, and we'll have to think about how to make that in Odoo. Okay. Okay, LabTech. So public holiday where you close the company and you want that all employees need to leave automatically. I'm not sure. I don't know if you have to register, if you can register automatically in the timesheets public holidays, so preventing to record any timesheet. Is it your question? I don't think so. That's something that has to be done manually. Because when I'm going to my timesheet, let's see the configuration, but okay, time-based services. Let's check that. Oh yeah, but that's directly linked to the product. No, I don't think so. sorry, LabTech, you have to record them manually in the timesheet directly. Or you have to record the leaves, but you cannot. I don't think that you are able to set leaves directly or automatically for the public holiday, the bank holiday. Let's check last time in leaves. Okay. No, that's something that has to be done manually. Okay, so Mahmoud is asking how to control on costing methods of any product. Thing is, Mahmoud, you can set only your costing method on your product categories. So you have to, if you are using different costing method for different products, you have to go through the product categories. Solution could be to gather all the products with the same costing method under the same product categories. That doesn't mean that you have to break down all your existing product categories. You can, for example, just refine your categories by, let's say, a final level, which could be the costing method. So, for example, as you can see here, I have different product categories. I have all syllable physical. So the last level is physical, services, softwares. So I can refine each one of them by a new categories, a new subcategories, which could be the costing method. So for example, I can just create and say real price. Take as parent the physical category, and I can set here, okay, I will use the real price, so first in, first out, and doing like this. So I can refine the product categories with the costing method. How to make transfer from one location to another. Okay, that's really simple. You can only make, you only have to use the internal transfer. So you have to go on the inventory module, and there you have internal transfer. You can create simply an internal transfer. You can choose the source location and destination location, and depending on that, you will transfer your product from the source to the destination. Then you can select the product or the set of products that you want to transfer, simply like this. Okay, thanks, Bob. Yes, analytic default were in configuration, well seen. How to deal with checks in accounting, and how to print payment receipt before the invoice printing. before the invoice printing, that's something. So Fawaz, sorry, Mahmoud is asking another question. Is asking how to deal with checks in accounting and how to print payments, payment receipt, before the invoice printing. What is a little bit strange is that to make, normally the process is to make an invoice and then your client will make the payment. So if you follow the step logically, you have first to communicate your invoice, to print it, before to print the payment that you receive or to register the check that you receive. But I can show you how to already print the payment receipt. So I guess it's here on sales receipt. Payment is gathering all the payment that has been done, register on all the invoices. So you can of course register it directly from here, from the payment. You can just determine the partner and the specific amount, choose a payment journal. Then let's see if we can print the payment receipt. Yep. Here is our payment receipt. Okay, invoice number is not taken. Okay. Let me check this one. Customer invoice, bank. Okay, it's because of bank. Okay, I don't know why it's not printing correctly here, but normally you should take the info of those fields. Otherwise, you have the possibility to have the sale receipt, for example. It's the same things in the purchase menu. You have also purchase receipt and payment. Sales receipt is to summarize, for example, you receive a receipt from your client and is, it could be for different situations. You can have here a receipt from your client and is paying for different invoices, or it could be also a receipt from different clients paying for their invoices, but you just want to enter in the account all the payment that has been done. That's another possibility. So, okay. Here is where you can print your payment. You can also use the batch deposit, which is where you want to. That could be for the check. If you have multiple check, you can also use the batch deposit and enter all the payment that you receive from the different checks from your client. Then in batch deposit, have the different info. And then once the check is received, of course, the legislation about check is different in every countries. I don't think that in Middle East they are using check or they are using in France. So could be subject to some difference depending on your countries, but the idea here is to record a batch deposit, for example, for different checks. It will create payments in the system, and then you will have to reconcile the payment and the invoices from the bank statement. So it will be working like this and really simple. Okay, so we have 4 minutes left. Don't hesitate to send me your last question. So Mahmoud has another question. How to make sub-project? I have one project and I need to list many sub-projects with it. Okay. You can make sub-task, but I'm not sure you can make sub-project. But the idea is quite similar. If your idea is just to have a principal project and sub-project inside, we can use the relation project task and simulate the task by the subtask. So, for example, let's take the project data import export plugin. That's one project. And then, as you can see, I have different tasks, but I could also use the task here as sub-project. And then I could use the option subtask to simulate the task. So we can just represent your flow like this. So let me use the subtask option. I have to configure that. Okay, so I have to go on the project module configuration and tick the subtask option. Okay, so it's loading, but the idea is really simple. Once you have created a task in your project, you only have to create subtask to represent the real task in your case. Okay, so I just will quickly finish with this and then just check the MRP module with Mahmoud. Okay, so what I said is, here is your project. You have tasks normally, but we would say that those tasks are the sub-project, and we can use subtasks directly in the sub-project. So that's how we can handle this relation, this 3-level relation. Okay, so can I have 2 form views for one model, but in menu item I want to use a specific one? Yes, you can do that. You can have 2 form views for only one model. You have only to specify which views has to be applied on the menu or on the button. But I don't have the time to go deeper into detail for this. But I think it's possible. Okay, so the last question I will handle is how to deal with MRP module, please. Mahmoud is asking to help to see an example to start one product and okay. So the question of Mahmoud is to just simulate the production of a final good using average costing method. So I won't do all the things, but I will explain you the different steps. So first steps is to configure your component. You have to put them in a product categories which use the costing method average. So that's the first step. Then you have to create your BOM with the different components, create your operation in the MRP module. So for that, you have to go on work centers, and you can set a cost per hour. Of course, the average will compute different things. It will start with a purchase order. So once you have purchased some products, some components, it will set a cost price for each one of those units. So it will be the average of the cost price per unit. Then it will add the cost of the operation that you did in the manufacturing order, and all those things will be transferred to the cost of the final good, of the final product. So the product that has been produced will sum up all the costs, the purchase cost, or the average purchase cost of the component, plus the cost per hour that have been added through the different operations that you did in your manufacturing. And then on the inventory valuation, you will find the valuation of the final good, but of course the average valuation. So it will make the mean of all the costs sum up, all the costs divided by all the quantities of this final good. That's how it works. I don't have the time to show you because it requires different configuration steps, and it will take a little bit time to make this demo. But check this. Okay, it's the end of our live session. I hope that you enjoy it and that that I could answer to most of your questions and that it was helpful for you. We have a next live session, but next week. So Friday morning, as usual, 9:30 a.m. Belgium time. And I wish you a good day. See you around. If you have still some questions, don't hesitate to send an email to our support. So the link is odoo.com/help. Thanks.